our Saturday. Welcome to our Saturday training call. As you know, we do this every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I told you before we get started, it's hard to make money when you're not plugged in. So great job, everybody getting on here. It's only an hour out of your time. So make sure you got your notebooks or whatever device you use to take your notes, have that out, because you're going to be hearing from top producers, people who are crushing it in the field, whether they've had experience in insurance or no experience at all. You can find out what they're doing so that you too each week could have success and run it up and make money for you and your family. So this is exciting. And as you know, guys, we start every morning off with the top submit numbers, the top 10. So I'm gonna run through that real quick, right? And so guys, you're gonna hear the same names, right? We want some new people up here as well. It's not that hard. All right, all you got to do is follow the system and follow the things that these leaders are doing, and you too could be up there as well. So number 10, Ryan Urbanski, he's always consistent, 5864. Bradley M, same, 6,042. Garrett R, 6,180. Shawana P, I haven't seen her up there before, but great job. 6,684. Michael Fowles, 6,768. Andre, 8,799. Josh Forrest, the virtual king, 10,898. Thaddeus S, he's always consistent, 13,634. Will Crandell, same, 16,200. And guys, there can only be one number one. Our amazing senior vice president, Kali Somerville, $23,962. Okay, great job to our top 10. We're looking for some new people to jump up there. Guys, you can do it. I believe in you. And just a couple announcements before we have our speakers come on. The first thing I want to talk about, guys, is work spots, okay? You want to make sure you get work spots. There has been some discounts rolling out like crazy, but you can't get the discount if you don't have work spots. And I know it's $99 a month, right? But guess what? What if you had an office? What if you had to take care of print, ink, print, paper, everything that comes with an office? You're looking at over $1,000 a month. So think about it. If you're not in position, how can you ever get ready, right? And so for $99 a month, you have access to free ink, printing your leads, an environment, top leaders and producers where you get training for free. But most importantly, you get discounts, guys, on work spots, and you can work from anywhere nationwide, and you can be plugged into any office that's local and close to you. But here's the thing, guys, and it's something I want to tell you. Whatever you're thinking is what's in your pocket. So if you don't think that you'll ever make enough money to afford $99 a month, you probably won't. So make sure you get in position.
Corinne, you breaking up?
Corinne, you froze.
Let me text.
And they didn't open it up to see that they need to be plugged in. So they had a bunch of questions that were already answered. Guys, if you're hiring new people, make sure you call them to reiterate what they need to be plugged into, what they received in their email. But if you are lost, whether you're licensed or unlicensed, you need to be plugged in on that. All right. And if you're looking to build an agency, right, instead of your manager doing all the work for you, get plugged in so that you can see how to talk about the opportunity, how to explain it. We have tons of information for you not to be lost. Go on YouTube, do your due diligence. We can generally tell who's plugged in and who's not. We can tell who's doing what at nighttime or at your time off, when you're either hiring or if somebody's lost or you don't know what you're doing. You gotta be plugged in, guys. And so this is every Wednesday just for an hour. We're not talking about every day. This is an hour out of your time to make sure you have the information you need and your team has the information they need. And it also gives you an opportunity to allow Family First Life to work for you. Here's the thing. You may not have made any money yet. You may not have had any success yet, but guess what? You can allow people like Kali, myself, Thad, Jasmine, LaKenya, a lot of the other leaders, Junior, a lot of the other leaders that's on here to sell the opportunity for you who have had success, who are making money until you can catch up and get to that point. So it's very important, guys. Get on Wednesdays. It's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We start with the expansion. If you have anybody new, great job to all the leaders that had somebody on. We had 9 new people on last week. Or this past week, and we hit an all-time record of our attendance. And so that's how you know you're growing. So we're looking to grow from there. So great job to everybody, but definitely plug in and get on. And then the second half of the meeting is what's next. So if you're licensed or unlicensed and you don't know what you're doing, you need to know what's your next steps. Jump on there so you can get all your questions answered and you can know what's going on. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, big decisions are made at big events. We have another big event coming up. October 4th is going to be here in Baltimore, right? Baltimore, Maryland. If you're not in Maryland, I suggest you get here. We've had tons of leaders that have explosive success after coming from a conference like this. The great thing about this is not a bunch of hoorah and we get excited, guys, but we get more excited about getting the information on what we need to explode our business. So the first half of the meeting, if you look at the flyer, is live dial. So please bring your leads, right? And guys, it doesn't matter what type of leads you're calling, as long as the leads are new to you, you can have success too. From 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., we're going to be doing live dials together. It's going to be crazy. And if you're not here, you're going to be 6 months behind anybody else that was, right? And then the second half is going to be an event where you're going to learn from top producers who are actually out in the field crushing it, right? You're going to learn what they're doing on each part of this business so that you can have success too. And then most importantly, our keynote speaker is Sean Mike. I think about it almost like sports, right? And Junior says this all the time. If you want to be like Kobe Bryant and you're playing basketball, why would you miss the meeting that Kobe Bryant is at to talk about what you need to do to have success? Sean Mike is the Kobe Bryant of the insurance industry with Family First Life. So if you want to be like Sean Mike, if you want to have freedom and success for your family, if you want to have abundance, if you want to know what it takes to go all the way here, you want to make sure you're here at this event. The address is at the bottom and make sure that you register. The next biggest event after that, guys, is convention. Same thing. It's not just Sean Mike there, guys. It's like the all-star game, right? You got LeBron, you got Steph Curry. I'm not a big sports person and I don't know everybody's name, but y'all get the point, right? That's all the all-stars in one house at the convention. Why would you miss that? If you want to be like
Corinne broke up again. Corinne, we can't hear you.
and we didn't make a lot of money, but all the money that we did make, guys, went right back into the business with tickets, CDs, convention, different events, every 2 months. We were broke because all of our money went back into business, but thankfully, we have a president who went through the same things we went through and decided that, hey, if we're going to be the best of the best of a company, training should be free, right? And so this convention is completely free. However, you do need to pay your way there and pay for where you are going to stay, okay? But the event is completely free. You'll be 6 months to a year ahead of anybody else that didn't go. And last but not least, guys, understand something. Anybody that has ever had any type of success here in Family First Life, they would have never had that success unless they went to that event. So make sure you are there. So guys, get your notebooks out, get your devices out. I don't want to take any time away from our amazing top producers that are going to give you some information today. And I have the pleasure, all right, for our first speaker. She came in, have you been here a month, Danielle? Has it been a month already?
It's been over a month now.
Okay, maybe, but not 2 months though, right?
Not quite 2 months. No.
Not quite 2 months. Do you have an insurance background?
No, I don't.
Okay, so this is what I want you to do, because I don't know, a lot of people on here haven't really heard your story, right? Just give us a small snippet of your story. But guys, what I know about this woman, she asked a bunch of questions. She did not come from an insurance background, right? Had a little rough start, but is crushing it. And she is going to tell a little bit about herself. And then she's also going to go into dialing the CRM leads because she's having a ton of success with that. So go ahead, take it away, Danielle.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I'm a single mom. I work a full-time job. So I do work FFL part-time. When I started out, I was so pumped. I was like, oh yeah, this is something new. So let me, I had a little doubts in the beginning. I'm like, I don't know. Are they really making this kind of money? Let me see for myself. Let me get all these questions out in the beginning. What do I had a whole lot of questions, but Kylie and Daniels and a few other people were able to help me through the way and answer the questions before I got started. And as I got started, I was like, oh my goodness, took this test. I believe I passed. It took me 7 days to get the study, get my license. It took me about 7 days. And when I got the license, I was like, okay, well, then what next? Okay, I'm ready to work. You gotta get contracted with your carriers. So, okay, I was like, okay, do that. So what do we do now? So I was so anxious on starting because it was something new. But I was learning as I go along. Did not know anything. But as I went along, I just picked up, I asked a lot of questions, like Corinne said, asked a lot of questions, got my answers and kept on moving. Went on my first appointment, nervous, didn't know what to do, didn't know what I was giving this lady. But like I said, I called Kylie. She helped me through it, worked it out, and I got her policy. My first policy. And I was like, okay. I was nervous all the whole time. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Am I doing the right thing? Da, 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 da. I did. She got a policy. We moved on. Next time I went to a point, I'm like, okay, I'm still a little nervous. I'm still, not comfortable. But I was able to start closing policies because you have the guides, you have the in-home information. And it really helps, kind of say, look in your book. Okay, I'm looking at a book. Okay, do this, do that. And you're able to close the clients being new to insurance, not knowing anything. So how I got those clients was in the beginning, we have a CRM. Our CRM is a customer relations management system that FFL has. And that's where you get your leads from. You want to start out with 100 leads minimum. When I started, I had some old behind leads. I got them from Cali. But all leads are good leads. I don't care what leads they are. All leads are workable. We got on the call. When I called out of the first 30 calls, I booked 10 appointments. Them leads were 3 months old leads, but they were from June, but 3 months old leads. So they probably put them in maybe about March, April, maybe. But I was able to book 10 appointments. And you want to get into a consistency of calling. I still call them leads till the day. I go way back to my first set of leads. If I hadn't made contact, if I wasn't able to get to that person, or if I didn't sit with that person, I still go back and call every lead from the beginning if I don't have my appointment set for that day or for the run day. When we call our leads, it's normally our normal dial days are Mondays and Thursdays. And you run in Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and some people run Sunday. But being as though I'm part-time, I alter my schedule. I run when I get off of work in the evenings, some evenings, and I run all day Saturday and Sundays. And basically what about the lead, the CRM?
Hold on, Danielle, real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were part-time.
Yeah, I'm a part-time.
What?
But my numbers look full-time when I get them close them deals, they look full-time, but I'm part-time. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so tell me what that schedule is like, because I know we have some people on here, they are part-time. Can you break down your schedule? Because I know some people feel like, I don't know if I can add this. I don't know if I could do this. Where do I fit dialing and running appointments? But I know you know the numbers. So how do you work the numbers in your schedule with being part-time?
So I'm a little flexible. So My full-time job is a little flex. So sometimes I could do some dialing on my break, or if I got some downtime, I could do some dialing in between to set appointments for maybe Tuesday and Wednesday. Then I get back on dialing on Thursday. In between downtime, I set appointments for Friday evenings, Saturdays, and then sometimes during Friday, I'll go ahead and call again, set more appointments for Saturday and Sunday.
Uh-oh, I think you froze, Danielle. Shoot, this was getting good too. Let me text her. Did it freeze on y'all part, Collie?
Yeah, I don't hear her.
Yeah, it's frozen.
anymore.
Okay.
She's still on.
Yeah, I don't even know if she knows her camera's frozen. Guys, uh-oh, she's gonna jump back on. So, is that her? Okay, so until she gets back on, guys, let me tell you something. Whatever you can believe, you can achieve. And Danielle, I'm glad that she's jumping on to talk about this, because I get a lot of people that text me like, I don't know if I have time, or we have part-timers on here that are just not having success. So you got to pay close attention to what she's saying, because what I'm hearing is that not only does she have a schedule, but she's dedicated, she's committed to her schedule, and that if anything comes in between, that she's letting them know, look, no, I have a second job, I have something that I have to do, and then nothing gets in the way of that. Because sometimes we can let family situations, things like, oh, this came up. If you treat it like a job, it's going to pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you as such. All right, we got Danielle back on.
I'm back.
All right.
I had to put the backup device in. See, I'm out in the field today, so
I got you. We got you. We're going to work with you. Go ahead. You remember what you were talking about?
Yeah, so I set like I said, I dial in between my downtime, when I'm working doing my full-time job. So during my downtime, I do dials, I set my appointments and so forth. And even on Saturdays, sometimes in between, if I'm running, I have my leads with me, and I'll knock some doors, I'll call some people, and I'm able to, set appointments. I'm still in between. I'm multitasking as I'm doing appointments, or if somebody didn't answer, let me set some more appointments. Let me get to these homes. And also, like you said, if you don't have leads, you don't have no business. You have to have leads. Because if you're not going to see people and setting appointments and closing policies with your leads, you're gonna be out of business real soon. But like I said, I got so many leads, I'm gonna get them all. I'm gonna do them all.
Danielle, let me ask you a question. So since you don't have an insurance background, you've never done this before, right? What was it like going to your first appointment, and how did you get good at knowing what to give the client when it came to the different companies?
I called my manager, Callie, and if I couldn't get her, I called in-home support. If I couldn't get I call I call until I get somebody. But you also, as you go to different clients, you remember, oh, this person had this. And also we have Slack, the in-home help. You can scroll through there. Sometimes what's in there is similar to what you're dealing with. Some issues, and then you just look at the comments. So you can work it out. You can maneuver by just looking at that, and also calling your manager, your upline, and working it through. And if you don't think you're going to close it, call your upline before you leave their house, because you might not be able to close it, but they can close it.
That's awesome. I actually was just going to ask you that. When do you call? Do you call when you leave?
No, you call before you leave. You call while you in their house. So you ask them all the questions. You go by the client worksheet and you go down, you ask them everything. You try on your own. So don't just call right away. You try on your own. You look at your cheat sheet, you look at your grids, and you say, okay, you have a sort of an idea, but you confirm it with your manager. This is what I think. Was this the best option for Ms. Jones? So when you call in home.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So Danielle, let me ask you some questions, right? What do you say when you're calling? Well, first of all, have you bought leads yet? Okay.
Leads all the time.
Okay.
Especially when they got the discounts and work spots.
That's what I'm talking about. So what type of leads do you buy? Do you buy the instant? Do you buy the 3-month-old, 1 month? Which ones are you buying?
I buy 3 months, 1 month, instant. All leads is different. So
you mix them all together?
Yeah, I mix them together. So all leads is different.
Okay.
But I get a lot of success with the 3-month leads. A lot.
Those are good, right? So, okay, let's talk about the 3-month leads because number one, those are good. Those are great leads to start with when you're purchasing leads, if you're just starting. So Danielle, let's kind of role play. What do you say when you're calling the 3-month-old CRM leads? I'm going to be the person you calling.
Okay. So when
Y'all
I
say
call,
no. This the goat right here. Come on.
Okay, so when I call, I sit there and I will say my little prayers. I say, ooh, okay, we got this. So I say, you want to do the ring ring?
Okay. Bring.
Hey, Miss Mary.
Yes.
Hi, this is Danielle calling from the Benefits Center depending on what county I'm in. Sometimes Baltimore City, Baltimore County, I'll say Baltimore County, or if I'm way out, I'll say state of Maryland.
Okay.
This is Danielle calling from the Benefits Center with Baltimore County. I'm just giving you a quick call in regards to the inquiry you made online about the state regulated life insurance program. You put down your date of birth is 1/16/1963. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. So I'm just the person assigned to get this information out to you. Are you currently working, retired, or disabled?
I'm actually disabled.
Okay, perfect. They had me out here in the field Friday and Saturday. I gotta say about 15 clients to get this information out to. Are you available in the morning or the afternoon? Because right now I have a 9 a.m. and a 2 p.m. Which one will work for you, Miss Mary?
I get up early, so 9 a.m. will work for me.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna put you in for 9 a.m. Okay, are you still in the 21223 zip code?
Yes.
Okay. And where am I coming to? And she'll say, oh, I'm coming to 125 Lanville. I said, oh, okay. Lanville Road. Okay. Is that a house or apartment?
That's a house.
Okay, great. Is it parking? How's the parking over there, Miss Mary?
You have to park it. There is no driveway because I'm on a main road. But there is a street parking.
Okay, street parking. So you think I'll be able to get a spot at 9 a.m. in the morning, Mary?
Yeah, try to park around the corner if you don't mind taking a slight walk, but just around the corner, there'll be a space open. There's always a space open right there.
Okay, perfect. So Miss Mary, I got you down here for 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. Okay. And I'm coming to such and such, such and such, such and such. And again, my name is Danielle, and I'll see you at 9 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day, Miss Mary.
That is perfect. So you went through the script, you made it your own, you kept your tone the same, you didn't act like it was a big deal, and you tied it down and you locked it in. Okay, so now let me ask you a couple more questions. We got a few more minutes before we bring our next speaker on, Danielle. What are some of the common objections that you get, and how do you handle them?
Oh, she was like, oh, I'm not interested. I get that a lot. Like, well, I'm not interested either. I'm just trying to do my job. It's 4 o'clock. Wait a minute, it's 2 p.m. was 4 p.m. Good for you, Miss Karen.
Oh, okay.
Like,
2 p.m.
2 p.m. Okay. Well, I got you down here for 2 p.m. I'm coming to, are you still in, I do the zip code because sometimes the addresses they might have moved from where it was, but they might be still in the same zip code. and I'll kick the zip code with them too. Because a lot of times people like, I ain't been there for 40 years. I'm like, okay, well, where am I coming to now? So I kick the zip code, then I'll say, well, where am I coming to? Is that such and such? That I'm assuming it's to, and they'll say, yeah. Sometimes they say, no, my address is, and they'll give you the address. I say, well, is that a house or apartment? Because sometimes it's an apartment, they just don't roll everything off. Is it a house or apartment? So you want to always ask that.
What's another one you get?
I also get, I got insurance with my job. I said I do too. But I still got an outside policy because that insurance policy stays with your job. And sometimes people just don't know, because I tell them about it. I tell them experience I had with some clients where they thought they were going to keep the insurance when they realized that it's too much for them to afford once they leave a job. I said, you want to get it now while you're still young, outside policy other than your term policy that you had with your job. And normally they'd be like, okay, let's see. And I have closed people on, they have insurance on their job. And
Wow. So how'd you learn about that? Because most people who don't come from insurance don't know that. It's a lot of people that don't have outside insurance with just group plans on their job. How'd you learn that? Was it plugging into these trainings, or you found out?
Trainings. I know that my job, I still have that term, but I also have an outside policy, and I talked to Kylie about it. Just listening to, and just listening. Even from day one, I was on all Wednesday trainings, all Saturday training, and that one Wednesday night I got on that training. Kylie's like, well, what are you still doing on this training? You need to get off the seat, get off the pot. Something she said to me.
I remember that.
That's where it got, because I'm like, I want to know everything before I get in the field. But no, you don't need to know everything. Just get out there and do it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You just gave a lot of great information, Danielle. I love your energy and spirit, the way you deliver, and you keep it simple. And you don't have to change who you are, guys. You can completely be yourself with using this system and really just change you and your family's lives. So that's amazing, guys. You heard from one of the best. Like I said, she don't have no insurance background. She's still learning to this day. She's been here less than 2 months. There's no reason why anybody on this call can't do what Danielle is doing. Work works. Am I right, Danielle?
Yeah.
Work does work. And the only way you're going to learn is by going out there and do it. And I always say this, guys, before you can be really good, you got to be bad. And before you become really bad, you have to at least try. But if you don't try, you can never be bad or ever become good. And never compare yourself to someone like, myself, Thaddeus, Khalid, Danielle, Junior, LaKenya. You can't compare yourself to people who've already put in the hours and are still putting in the hours. You got to put your hours in, go after your 100 appointments. And I promise you, you're going to look up and you're doing this business like you could do it in your sleep. It's not easy, but it's simple. And it's only what you make it, right? Because whatever you're thinking is what's in your pocket. So Danielle, thank you so much. I know you can throw your number up there. I know, but people going to have a bunch of questions for you, right?
You're welcome.
All right.
I can. Let me put it in the chat.
Perfect. All right, guys, we're going to bring up the next speaker. This gentleman, he is always traveling. He is crushing it. Making money is not a problem to him. I know some of you have heard him before. I know he's in the field right now. I'm just super appreciative to have him on here too. Because he's just, just crushing it. He just did almost $6,000 yesterday. And, Kamal, bless us with this information because you are out there crushing it.
Corinne, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And Danielle, I gotta always just give it up. When I see the newer ones come in, I was like Danielle, I had no insurance experience. I have had business experience for a lot of years, but it's just impressive to see people come in and do what you do, Danielle. So, thanks for sharing it. And Corinne, again, beautiful, love the introduction and everything, but listen, we're just following your lead as well. Every time I look down or look into any of the social media, I see you putting up tremendous numbers as well. So thank you. But what I wanted to share with you today, and it's funny because I had a quick meeting today. I had to finish it abruptly. So it didn't go too well. I didn't get the application, but it's okay because, it's all about getting into a household. We set the appointments, and once we set the appointments, what do we want to do? We want to go in there and we want to get these applications. So I know people are on this call at various levels of presenting. You have high-level presenters like Thaddeus and Corinne, and then you have people that might be, hey, I'm not going to call you a low-level presenter. What I'm going to say is you might be new to this, So as Corinne just said, you get those 100 out the way, you become a high-level presenter. So real quick, and I take a lot of this from one of the things you can watch on YouTube with Paul McLean. It's called the 8 Steps of Final Expense Presentation. It's fantastic. I use it as a template, and it'll help you with your presentation so you're not really all over the place. First thing he talks about is just the mindset. When you get out that car, I don't care what's going on, things in the house, you might have had an argument with the wife or your husband or something like that. Whatever it is, bad day, good day, leave that all in the car, go into that house because your focus is on the client. We are here to help the client. That's what we do. We don't go in there saying, I want to write this policy for them, I want to write that policy for them. You go in there with the intention, you listen to them, and you give them what works best for them. So when you get in there, just set yourself. I saw Kareem got the little baby running in the back. So when you go and in the house, ladies and gentlemen, you get in there and you find yourself, do a dining table. Let's not sit on the couch. Couch is kind of relaxed and things like that. You mean business. Let's sit at the table. The table, it's more respectable. It's more business. So when you get in there, what I usually say is I just tell the people, one of the things, once I take out the sheet that has, the carriers on it, and it has like the 3 reasons why people get the insurance. I'm looking at the gymnast in the back. So when the 3 reasons why people do get the insurance, what I tell the people is I let them know that I'm not what's called a captive sales agent. That means that when I show that form, I say I don't work for any of these specific companies. I'm a field underwriter, and I'm regulated by the state, and I represent the state. So that means that every single person that I sit in front of, everybody, by the time I leave your house, you're going to have a policy. So you want to set the stage, because the presentation is psychology that goes along with the presentation. So I'm letting them know from the door, by the time we leave, you are going to have a policy. And I let them know a lot of times, you guys filled out forms. You may not have the insurance because you might have found it was too expensive or whatever, but I'm here. These are state regulated. These are discounted programs. And here's the thing, no matter what your health condition is, just because you filled out this form, you are going to qualify for something. Now, you have to kind of watch who you say that to. If the person is 50 and over, then you know it's true, because no matter what their health condition is, you always have Great Western and you have AIG. Those are the things those are companies. You could have AIDS, you could have cancer, you could have had a stroke, a heart attack 2 weeks ago and surgery, but they're going to take you. All right. So you're letting them know, you're setting the stage right there. Then I go into the reasons why they got the insurance. And you can ask them, but it's usually one of 3 reasons. One of the reasons is depending upon the age. Like today, I just did a mortgage protection, so it was a little different. But the final expense presentation, when I went in there, I say, a lot of times, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, there are 3 reasons why most people get the insurance. One is they just don't want to be a burden on the kids or the grandkids. The second one is they may want to replace income. And that's what I was kind of focusing on with the couple that I met with today. And they had a nice house, a couple of nice cars in the driveway. They had their kids. So what I was letting them know is what you want to do is you want to pretty much get the value of it, and this is, I'm trying to keep this as condensed as possible, because you could really get forensic with this and go into a lot. But bottom line is I was just speaking to them, filling out the sheet, the form, which I'm going to get to, but I was really getting a gauge for who they are to get to know them. And then I was telling them that, why it's important to have a policy on the husband, as well as a policy on the wife. And that's because, if something happens to either one of them, you want to be able to replace that income, because with the loss of an income out of a household, that could really put a financial strain on the other person. I don't care how much money they make. If it's a 2-income household, if they both make $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, to lose one of those incomes that really will put some sort of financial strain on another person. So what you're doing is your income, you're replacing the income. And then the third thing is pretty much just leaving a legacy. You want to leave some insurance for the kids. You want to leave some insurance to help the grandkids pay tuition, whatever it is. And I'll ask them, are you one or you all three? And they'll usually tell you it's one of those three things. Pretty much 99% of the time, it's one of those three things. Then I move into the reasons why I'm here. There's three things I'd like to accomplish. One, we're having this conversation because I want to make sure that you can qualify for something. That's the first and foremost. I know you're going to qualify, but we want to see what you can qualify for and at what level. The second thing I want to make sure of is that you can afford the policy that we pick. We all want $10 million and $20 million insurance policies, but I know for a fact I would probably get that policy. I could probably pay that thing 2 times and my policy is lapsing. So what I want to tell people is you always want to go after the policy that you want, and you want to get it at a number that you like. Sometimes I'll say this to them, if they're really on some sort of a tight budget, I'll let a person know that I like your insurance policy or your insurance payment. I want it to come out, and I ask them if they have Netflix, and they say, yeah, I have Netflix. And I say, you see how Netflix kind of eases out of your bank account? You don't feel it. That's what I want, how I want your insurance payment to come out. I don't want you to strain. I don't want you to cringe when the bill is coming up. I want it to be very seamless. So I want to make sure that it's affordable to you. And the third thing is I definitely want to make sure that you understand the policy. So if there's one thing you can do, ladies and gentlemen, I hear Kristen talk about this all the time. I've heard Corinne say it. I've heard my own sponsor into the business, Willie Parker. The great thing is when you get the policy, whether the policy is sent to you or it's sent to the client, whether you go there or you get on the phone, please go over the policy with the client, because sometimes you'll go in there and they'll say, I have insurance. And you'll say, hey, let me see the policy. They give you the policy. And then what happens is you'll notice what they got was an accident only policy, meaning if they passed away from a sickness or something, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, a lot of you know this, but if they pass away from some sort of a sickness or an ailment, that policy will not pay out. I don't care if it's a $3 million accident only policy. That means they only can get the payment sent to their family if they died in some sort of an accident. So you really want to add clarity to that right there. Then the next thing I go to is the process. I let them know, hey, we have a lot of carriers here. We're going to go through. I'm going to ask you some questions. And this is me leading up to the sheet, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't even really get to the sheet yet. I jumped around a little bit, but I'm letting them know that what we're going to do based on the information, based on their goal for insurance or their desire of coverage, we are going to go after the most low risk, the carrier that I think is going to accept them right away. And I let them know, if you don't get accepted, a lot of people get declined. It could be something that you forgot about. Don't worry about it. Because we represent about 25 companies, like I said earlier in the presentation to them, listen, you are going to qualify for something, and I'm your agent. I'm with you every step of the way. So people want to just feel that you are with them. You're on their side. You are there to help them. You are in their corner. They just want to know that somebody is there to support them, because you never know. They may have spoken to 2-3 agents. They saw ads on TV. They filled things out online. People called them, and these people don't care about them. They just say, hey, here's the quote. You want the insurance? Yes or no? You want them to know that you are with them. And when you do that, people say, people don't care how much you know, but they know how much you care. That's a big deal, because once they know that and they feel comfortable with you and they know, okay, this guy's on my side or this young lady's on my side, they'll send you referrals and things like that. Then from there, that's when I start moving into the information sheet, and I'm asking them the questions like the couple today. How much is your house? What was it when you bought it? How much equity is in your home? And then we move down and we talk about, hey, are there any ailments or conditions? And I saw a guy do this. When he talks about if a person has ailments or conditions, he said he starts at the head and he starts pointing literally. He says, okay, is there anything going on up here? Schizophrenia. And he's asking all these questions, and the people laugh and they enjoy it. So I've tried it before, some people, they receive it different ways, but it's a good way to go through the medical, any surgeries they had, any medications that they take or anything like that. Go ahead. Any medications or anything, because a lot of times you really have to go through that because people forget. I sat with a guy the other day. The guy was retired out of the Army, super healthy. Guy was real strong, healthy guy, looked good and everything. But when we ran his policy with Mutual of Omaha, the problem was it came back declines. So I called him back. I said, hey, something happened. Are you sure you never took any medication? He said, well, Kamal, when I retired from the Army, they gave me that PTSD medicine, but I threw it in the garbage. People believe that if they didn't take the medication, then it wasn't prescribed or it shouldn't be in their medical record. But you go through those things, find out everything, because the more information you can get, then the more you can help that person. When they start, and it's not a function of yours or a fault of your own. Sometimes people lie. They don't tell you they had cancers or something like that, but it only messes them up, because the more they give you, the more it can, the more information you have where you can help them. So then once you do that, you go through it, you find out how much money they make on a monthly basis. I usually ask them questions about how much do you make after taxes. And the reason I say that is because you can't spend gross, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you may work jobs, I don't know, you make 100,000, 150,000. You don't come home with $150,000. So less than 150, you might come home with like 98, or, I don't know the figure. I'm just telling you an example. But you want to know what the gross raw figure is, because from that's when you could kind of itemize and get in. And Thaddeus, he does this really well. He just talked about how when he spoke to the people about the insurance, he talked about, okay, and what do you want the money to do? And what would this go to pay? And he went down a whole itemized list. And when he did that, that really shows when you write that out for a person, because people know what they pay, but when you itemize and you write things out and you really can show them how their money breaks down, it helps you to understand how much they possibly can afford insurance-wise, but it also helps them see what their spending is and what their spending habits are. So from there, we go through it, we find that out, and then I just let them know, hey, look, I'm going to run some numbers. This is how I know to lead up into the quote. If a person makes $1,000 a month, ladies and gentlemen, there's no way I'm going to show them a premium for like $417. It's just not happening. So you figure if it's 1,000, I might show them maybe, 175 or 50 for quotes and coverage. If they make maybe $2,500, I might show them maybe a 125 or a 150 or 175, but you're going to get good at that. You're going to get good at gauging that. So then as that goes, okay, as what time? Okay. No, give me 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to shuffle. I got to take my daughter to gymnastics too, but I know I have a little bit of time. So once that's done, and once you go ahead and you do these quotes, right? You are going to, and it's usually a little bit of quiet time, because you're running the quote sheet, you're finding out what's best for that client based on the information that you took from them. So once you run those quotes, you sit down. I usually do 3 different quotes. Thaddeus said he does 5. I'm going to try that. It's always good to learn from so many different people because they have jewels and nuggets. That's why these calls are fantastic, because you'll always hear a person's style that you can gravitate towards. So when I show the 3, I'll usually say, hey, I'll point to the number, I'll show the 3 and I'll ask them, so, based on what we discussed, based on your need for the insurance, which one of these feels best to you, right? And they'll look at that and they know if you have it written down, if they told you, I need the insurance to pay for A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, they wrote that down. They may initially want to go for something lower, but they know this is an emotional sale. They're like, if I'm not here, I need this money to pay for this woman or this man and these kids or whatever it is. And once that's done, they know because it's written, it's visual. They are going to select a quote from you or a premium that might be higher than what they had in mind. And what's good about that is I always want a person to get more insurance, but the last thing you want to do, we're never trying to break a person. And even if they start off at the highest one, I'll try to talk them back. I'll say, listen, I think this is great. You sure you don't want to go at this level? Because here's what we can do. We can always go up. All that means is adding another policy, because they'll say, well, if I want to go up from here later on, can I just get more insurance? And the answer is yes. It's really just adding another insurance policy. So I'll back them down and I'll say to them, listen, are you sure this level right here? Because, when I was putting this together, I thought this would be fantastic for you. Sometimes they'll come back and say, no, come on, I think this level is the one, and they'll point back to the top level. I think this is the one I want to go with just based on the conversation that we had. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot more to say, but once they select it, get their driver's license and you start filling out that application, and then you just go for it. So Corinne, did I come in under time? I know there's so many things we could go into, specifics, but are we good on time?
Yeah, we're good. And then, once you're finished, it's 11:47. We have time for questions. Anybody that has questions.
Well then let's do it. And ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, that's pretty much it right there. You go fill out that application, and then we see what happens. As you know, a lot of it's instant approvals depending on if you're going with America or whatever. And some of it, you have to wait a couple of days, but you just let the client know and stay in touch with your client. If something's taking a little long, contact the client. Tell them, hey, they've been backed up. I always, to this day, I use COVID for everything. You know why the agent didn't see you? We had some agents that left. COVID. It's taking a little long with the underwriting. COVID. We're playing catch up. I use COVID for everything, but they just want to feel as if you're holding their hand through the process if it takes a little long. So Corinne, I'm pretty much done, and hope that you got something from it. I know I was talking fast. I'm trying to juggle like you. I see you got
It's
your
okay.
So,
real quick, I want to start. I'll start the questions off real quick, guys. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat and I'll read them off.
Okay.
Kamal, I'm not sure if you said this already. I know you threw some company names out there. What's the order of carriers that you use when you're in the home?
That's interesting. So the two that I'm sure you guys probably know are the hardest to qualify for are Americo and Mutual of Omaha. Their grading systems are probably the hardest. But I do start out with Americo and Mutual of Omaha all the time. I do start with that, and probably Americo first. And then if there's a little bit of a health condition, I will pivot over to either Prosperity or Aetna. If they're borderline, if they're really sick, but we don't have to take them to AIG, I will go Transamerica. And if you just can't do anything for them, AIDS, HIV, cancers, heart surgery, I'll take them to AIG or Great Western.
All right. Obviously, depending on what state you're in, right?
Exactly. That's right.
Okay, guys, does anybody have any questions for Danielle or Kamal? Questions about schedule, in-home, setting appointments. It could be anything. Because we got a lot, we got over 45 people on here.
I have a question for both. Danielle and Kamal, how much are each of you spending on average on leads per week? And what kind of leads are you guys buying?
Okay, so I'll go first. Mine fluctuates. So I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, all right. Hold on, I might lose them going out the Wi-Fi. So lock it. About $500. The reason I say that, ladies and gentlemen, on CRMs, I think I spent about $450 last week, but I also have something called Mail Pro. So that means that about maybe 10 to 12 come in a week. So let's say, and they're $40 each. So that's about $400. So it fluctuates sometimes between maybe $300 and maybe $900 was what it might average for me on the lead spend.
Okay, Danielle, what about you?
Yeah, that's about the same. Depending on what kind of discounts I spend anywhere from $3 to maybe $550. I know one week I spent, it was almost about $9 on leads. So anywhere from $3 to about $550.
Okay, but you said also was a week that you spent $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, so here's what I want everybody to really kind of understand. So let's just call it, let's say you're spending between $5,000 and $1,000 a week, right? But what are, and I'm bringing, high end, how much are you deposited into your bank account on a weekly basis?
Okay, was that for me? I went out of the Wi-Fi and I came back in.
It's for both of you guys, but I think people get nervous about the conversation about spending money on leads, but then not really understanding it's not spending money, you're investing money into your inventory. And so you're spending money to get, name the numbers, but then what's that return on that investment? That's the most important part to me.
Yeah, no, that's good, Kali. Danielle, were you gonna go or can I go?
You can go.
Okay, fantastic. So I'll give you a perfect example. Last week I went to Georgia. I'm licensed in Georgia. I spent $4 on leads, right? But it gave me like 100 some odd leads. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no way you could get 100 some odd leads and not close something. One policy took care of the lead spend, and that was a low lead spend. I know Kylie and them spent $1,500, $2,000 on leads, and that's nothing, because when they write the policy right there, it's a done deal. So that week that I spent the 444, I wrote 3 policies. So to answer you, Kylie, I deposited 2,300 last week. Yesterday, I did, as Corinne said, I just happened to have a good day. Is every day like that? Absolutely not. But you will always, if you spend the money on the leads, you are going to get your money back. One in 35 times, you might get a bad batch or something, but I guarantee you are going to get that money back, and you're going to be depositing a surplus.
Good stuff. What about you, Danielle?
So yeah, so I want to say my last week I deposited about 1,700 or something, but I spent about 4 on my leads.
So not a great, it's not an FFL world, not a great income week, but still overall, right? Not a bad week, because you didn't work 40 hours either.
Right.
To make that
right.
money, right? That's the difference.
And the week, I want to say the week before I deposited 2,400 and something, and I spent about 430 or 450 on leads then. So
right. So that's it. Yeah. So you guys are, and y'all are buying the CRM leads. I said Kamal has some mailers, but Danielle, you're strictly buying the leads out of the CRM, whether they're the 30-day-old and 90-day-old. They're working.
Mhm.
They're working for you because you're working them.
Right?
Absolutely. And so I think people think that there are some, there's no magical leads. I mean, hell, I just closed a $2,000 sale on a 90-day-old lead. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the leads, it's how are you working the leads, and then are you getting help with working the leads, right? Because I think one of the other things I know for Danielle is always on the line. And Kamal, you've been here for a while, so yours is a little bit different. That's why I'm gonna focus on Danielle. But Danielle is always on live dials, right? And so she's now getting to the point where she's one of the people dialing live, but before she was was getting better, she's been practicing. So the leads are only as good as you are, but you got to get better. You got to master your craft, so that when you buy the leads that are $3 and $4 a piece, you know what you're doing, and so you're not wasting your money. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, Kylie, I wanted to chime in on that. What you said is so true, because I used to be like that. I would look at the lead, and I was one that always wanted the magic lead. I'm like, you calling these people and hanging up on you. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. Which one is the best lead? But it was you, Ron McCormick, Corinne, and it was somebody else that I would watch. They were buying leads, and what was cool was there is no magic lead. Like $1.50 leads, $3 leads. If you are on the phone and you could get yourself to that person's house, that is just as good as that $40 lead, which has me challenging, am I going to continue those $40 leads? But a lead is a lead, and I agree with you 100%.
Okay. All right, got some questions in the chat really quickly, because we got about 5 minutes left. So Latanya Johnson asks, how do you handle 100% virtual appointments? I don't think anybody's doing 100% virtual appointments right at this moment, Latanya. So I think most people, they're doing virtual, they're doing some virtual, and they're doing some in-home. They're kind of doing a hybrid. Janera asks, how are y'all booking 10 to 12 appointments on field days? So I know for myself, in order for me to have 10 appointments, I'm booking them every hour, right? And some people are scared to book them every hour because you feel like, oh no, I'm gonna be late, right? But this is what I tell people: the Comcast, well, everybody don't know Comcast. The cable guy is late. They might say we're gonna be there between 10 and 12, and they get there when they get there, right? The electric guy is late. A lot of times when people set appointments, they come like people are expecting you to be late, but kind of to, one of the things I add to my script is I'll say, hey, I have a bunch of people that I'm helping that day. I may be a little bit late. If I'm really late, then I'll give you a call. But I haven't put any kind of time constraint on what really late means. So if I get there 2 hours late, I already told them I was gonna be late. And so and then the good thing about being late to your appointments, that means you're closing. Because if you're not closing, you're on time to every appointment that you have. So I would prefer to have 10 appointments scheduled in a day. That's right, cable guy's always late. And so I would prefer to have 10 appointments scheduled in a day, getting to appointments late because I'm closing versus having 10 appointments in a day and getting to them all on time. That means I haven't closed anybody from everybody if I made everybody on time.
Kylie, let me
Danielle.
address. Let me get Latanya real quick because I was the same
Okay.
way, Latanya. I was scared going in and out of people's houses too. But I tell you what, keep your immune system up. Take your vitamins. Do extra boost, ginger tea, whatever, honey. Keep your immune system up. When you come out, keep your mask on. If you're scared to be in, keep your mask. People, they don't mind. They be like, oh, well, they got the test, but keep your mask on. You know, don't be scared because I was the same way. But I go. I had 3 masks. I ain't gonna lie,
I take my vitamins religiously.
yeah.
I
So
do.
don't be scared. Because I've been in a whole bunch of houses, and like I said, keep your immune system up, keep your mask on. When you come out, you sanitize your devices. You know they got to use your Apple Pen. If you got an iPad, I got Lysol, tons of Lysol wipe. I wipe everything off. I sanitize my hands. I wipe, and I keep on, and I move to the next one. So don't be scared of the in-house.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
Latanya,
Danielle.
I've been running. I've been running I hardly ever run anything virtually. And I've been doing it all since before COVID, during COVID, with it wherever we had COVID, Delta variant right now. I've been running in-person appointments the whole time. So yeah, so I agree with Danielle. Like, yeah, you know, do things, you know, take the proper precautions, you know what I'm saying, to keep yourself safe. But unfortunately, you can't. There are people that are having success with 100% virtual, but that is definitely a skill. It is for everybody on the phone. 100 like virtual appointments requires that you know how to do virtual appointments. Because when you're face to face with a client, it's much easier to establish rapport. You know what I'm saying? They can get your body language. They can kind of feel you. But virtual, and then two, you have a higher rate of no shows, right? Because if I come to your house and you forgot, then you open the door, be like, damn, I forgot, right? But if it's virtual, I just don't have to show up at all get on a Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, so there's nothing really holding me to it. So it's definitely pros and cons to both, right? So, but it's definitely a skill involved in getting good with virtual appointments. Setting up the appointment is a little bit different. You know, how you present is different. Like, it's some differences in the virtual world. And there are, if you go to YouTube and you just you can look for FFL videos on, you know, doing virtual appointments on Zoom. Like, they're available out there. Training is available. It's just, you know, each one has its pros and its cons.
Okay.
And then one more quick question for you, Danielle. Danielle, how many appointments are you doing on a part-time basis? How many are you targeting to set every week?
Oh, I'm targeting to set about 30 appointments a week.
So Danielle is part-time.
Working a full-time schedule. Working a full-time schedule.
Right. So Danielle's running a full-time number of appointments, but she's only part-time because she's a full-time job. So what that tells me is that when Danielle quits her job, Danielle's going to be probably running 40 appointments a week. Because if she's doing 30 now on a part-time basis, that means she can just fit more appointments in when she's full-time. So guys, with that being said, it is 12 o'clock. Thank you so much to our leaders this morning, Danielle Walker and Kamal Harris. It's just a blessing, and it's great to be in business with both of you guys. Guys, we do this every Saturday at 11 a.m. and we will be on a live dials on Monday, starting at 7:30 a.m. on Zoom, guys. So if you're not good on the phones, jump on the live dials on Monday so you know what's what. Oh, the only other thing we do have, and I don't know if Corinne mentioned it at the beginning, is that Sunday evening from 7 to 9, Sean Brigman, for the people that are 50% through the class or 100% through the class, is doing a special coaching session for people that are at least 50% through the class. You can ask questions to someone who actually taught the life insurance licensing exam for another company, and he knows his stuff, guys. So if your team or anybody on your team needs help with studying for the exam, please jump on that. Please jump on that call tomorrow evening. We will post it in Slack. Everybody have an amazing week, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Okay. Bye-bye.